What happens when fragile, unpredictable humans, dismissed as weak by alien elites, begin outsmarting and outlasting the galaxy's most advanced species in a game where survival means everything? The metallic doors of the Intergalactic Academy groaned open with a hiss, unveiling a sprawling training facility lined with advanced alien technology. The room buzzed with energy. Creatures of all shapes, sizes, and species shuffled around, preparing for the commencement of one of the most grueling survival programs in the galaxy. Among them stood Aaron Keller, a human who looked grossly out of place. Clad in a worn leather jacket, old combat boots, and carrying little more than a backpack, he drew curious and condescending stares from alien participants and instructors alike. Whispers floated through the air. Is that really a human? How did they get invited to this program? They won't last a day. Deathworlders or not, they're primitive. Aaron felt the weight of their judgment, but he didn't care. He'd heard it all before: humans dismissed as the inferior species, more adaptable pests than intelligent beings. But Aaron wasn't here to prove anyone wrong. He was here for survival training, to push his limits, and more importantly, for the thrill. He knew this program wasn't going to be easy, but that was exactly why he had signed up. What no one realized was that Aaron thrived in situations where odds were against him. For humans, impossible odds were just another Tuesday. The intercom crackled to life, and a booming alien voice echoed through the massive hall. All participants, report to the zero-gravity chamber for your first assessment. Your survival skills will be tested today. Those who fail will be returned to their homeworlds immediately. No second chances. The voice was thick with authority, and a cold silence fell over the room. Aaron smirked. Well, that's welcoming, he muttered, adjusting the straps on his backpack. As the crowd began to move toward the designated chamber, Aaron felt a presence at his side. He turned to find Ryloth, a tall, serpentine alien with shimmering green skin and 4 glowing eyes. Ryloth's race, the ZYR, was known for their superior intelligence and telepathic abilities, one of the few species that humans couldn't easily read or understand. You shouldn't be here, Ryloth said, tilting his head as if examining Aaron under a microscope. This competition is not for your kind. Aaron raised an eyebrow. What's that supposed to mean? It means you're out of your depth, Ryloth said bluntly. Humans may have survived on a death world, but here, brute luck won't be enough. His tone was flat, not mocking, just a cold statement of fact. Aaron chuckled, unfazed. Guess we'll see. The two walked in silence, an uneasy tension lingering between them, until they reached the zero-gravity chamber. As they stepped inside, the door sealed behind them with a sharp clunk. The room instantly filled with a sense of weightlessness. Alien creatures adapted effortlessly to the shift in gravity. Some floated gracefully. Others used their tentacles or wings to propel themselves forward. Meanwhile, Aaron spun awkwardly, flailing like a fish out of water, bumping into the walls and participants around him. A few aliens snickered, amused by the sight. Pathetic, one sneered. Aaron gritted his teeth but didn't respond. This wasn't the first time he was underestimated, and it wouldn't be the last. The trial begins. Suddenly, a holographic timer appeared in the center of the room. Objective: retrieve the key from the far end of the chamber and return before time runs out. With no warning, a swarm of metallic drones was unleashed, zipping through the air, attacking anything in their path with electric stings. Chaos erupted. Aliens scrambled, darting around the drones with practiced ease. Some created energy shields, others cloaked themselves, and a few even merged with the walls to evade detection. Aaron was slower. He ducked and twisted, narrowly dodging a drone that buzzed past his ear. He could feel the electrical hum of its stinger as it missed him by inches. His heart pounded in his chest. This wasn't just survival, this was war, and the drones weren't holding back. For a split second, Aaron felt the familiar twinge of doubt. What if the others were right? What if he really was out of his depth? But then, out of the corner of his eye, he saw something strange. Ryloth, the overconfident ZYR, was in trouble. A swarm of drones had cornered him, and despite his advanced telepathy, His movements were growing frantic. He was struggling to fight them off. One of the drones latched onto his arm, delivering a sharp electric shock that sent the alien convulsing. His 4 glowing eyes dimmed with pain. Without thinking, Aaron acted. The human instinct. Aaron propelled himself through the air, angling his body toward the cornered alien. It wasn't graceful. It was chaotic, messy, and entirely human. He crashed into the drones with all the force he could muster, swatting them away with his bare hands. Electricity surged through his body, but he gritted his teeth and kept going. "Hang on!" Aaron shouted as he yanked Ryloth free from the drone's grasp. The ZYR stared at him in disbelief. "Why? Why would you do that?" he gasped, still dazed from the shock. Aaron shrugged, panting. "What can I say? I don't like bullies." With the drones temporarily dispersed, Aaron grabbed Ryloth's arm. "Come on," he urged. "We've got a key to find." The 2 unlikely allies floated through the chamber, dodging drones and maneuvering through the obstacle course with increasing efficiency. Where Ryloth lacked physical strength, Aaron compensated with brute force. And where Aaron faltered in agility, Ryloth provided guidance, using his telepathy to detect hidden traps and alert Aaron before it was too late. The clock was ticking, but together, they made steady progress. When they finally reached the end of the chamber, Aaron spotted the shimmering key floating just beyond a field of spinning blades. "Got it," Aaron muttered. He locked eyes with Ryloth. "You distract the drones. I'll go for the key." Ryloth hesitated. "You trust me?" Aaron grinned. "Do I have a choice?" With a nod, Ryloth launched himself toward the incoming swarm of drones, drawing their attention. Aaron took a deep breath, steadying himself, then propelled forward with every ounce of strength he had left. He twisted and turned, narrowly avoiding the spinning blades, and snatched the key just as it began to fade from view. Time remaining 10 seconds. Aaron's heart raced as he kicked off the wall, launching himself back toward Ryloth. The 2 of them hurtled toward the exit, the drones hot on their heels. With a final burst of energy, they crossed the finish line just as the timer hit 0. The chamber's doors hissed open, and they tumbled through, gasping for air. The other participants stared in disbelief. Many had failed to retrieve the key, and even those who succeeded hadn't done so while rescuing another participant. The alien instructors exchanged glances, murmuring among themselves. Ryloth turned to Aaron, his glowing eyes full of something strange. Respect, maybe even admiration. "You saved me," he said softly. "Why?" Aaron shrugged again, brushing off the question. "What can I say? That's just what we do." And in that moment, Ryloth understood something the other aliens never could. Humans weren't just survivors, they were something far more dangerous. They cared. The final trial loomed large before them, casting a suffocating silence over the remaining competitors. What had started with hundreds of alien participants from advanced civilizations across the galaxy had now been whittled down to a dozen survivors. Each trial had demanded more than just strength. It tested mental endurance, emotional resilience, and teamwork in ways even the most experienced participants had never anticipated. At the center of it all stood Aaron Keller and Ryloth, now an inseparable duo. Their unlikely alliance, between a Deathworlder human and a superior telepathic alien, had drawn not only the attention of the other participants, but also the increasingly suspicious alien professors running the trials. For the professors, the sight of a human not just surviving, but thriving gnawed at their pride. But the final trial wasn't just about survival. It was a crucible designed to test everything the competitors had learned. Those who failed would be dismissed. Those who succeeded would gain something far greater than recognition. They would prove they were worthy of leading the next generation of the galaxy's elites. The challenge was announced. Your task is to reach the core of the Cradle, a hostile, ever-changing environment designed to overwhelm even the strongest beings. Find the beacon at the core. Whoever activates it first will be declared the champion. Aaron shot Ryloth a look. How hard could it be? Ryloth gave him a grim glance, his 4 glowing eyes narrowing. It won't be a question of strength, Aaron. The Cradle adapts to your mind. It will use your memories, fears, and instincts against you. Aaron grinned. Sounds like a Monday to me. Ryloth sighed, but there was a flicker of something in his expression. Trust. Something that had taken root between them during the trials. A bond that transcended the usual cold alliances made in competitions like this. This wasn't just survival anymore. It was evolution. The moment they stepped inside the cradle, the environment shifted like a living thing, twisting and morphing to mirror the deepest fears of each participant. Jagged cliffs formed beneath their feet, storms raged above them, and strange creatures, nightmares pulled from their subconscious minds, crawled out from the shadows. Within seconds, chaos consumed the group. Competitors who had excelled in earlier trials crumbled under the weight of their fears, paralyzed by illusions that no amount of physical strength could fight. The cradle forced each participant to confront not just external dangers, but the limits of their own minds. Aaron felt the ground beneath him shift, turning into the cracked pavement of an earth street, a memory he had tried to bury. The street was filled with the sound of distant sirens, the air thick with smoke. A child's voice echoed through the haze, calling his name, his sister. Not real, Aaron whispered, clenching his fists. Not real, but the voice grew louder, cutting deeper. He could feel the guilt, the regret, emotions the cradle twisted mercilessly, turning them into chains that weighed him down. Every instinct told him to stop, to turn back, to give up. Then, through the thick fog of his mind, Ryloth's voice broke through, calm and steady. Aaron, focus. You're stronger than this. The words were simple, but they cut through the fog like a beacon. Aaron wasn't alone. The fear was real, but so was the strength he had built from facing fear over and over again throughout his life. He shook off the illusion and took a deep breath. Right, he muttered. No time for a breakdown. Navigating the cradle was unlike anything they had faced before. The environment shifted constantly. One moment they were climbing a cliffside, the next they were wading through a sea of molten sand. But through it all, Aaron and Ryloth moved as a unit, relying on each other's strengths to make up for their weaknesses. Aaron's instinct and improvisation saved them when the path ahead collapsed into a pit of acid, while Ryloth's telepathy alerted them to hidden traps before they triggered. When Aaron's muscles faltered, Ryloth supported him. When Ryloth's mind teetered on the brink of exhaustion, Aaron's stubborn will pulled him through. Around them, the other competitors fell one by one. The cradle overwhelmed even the strongest species, exposing their deepest insecurities and breaking their resolve. But Aaron and Ryloth didn't falter. Their bond, an anomaly among a sea of alien rivalry, pushed them forward, step by painful step. And at the heart of the cradle they found the beacon. But as they reached the beacon, another cruel twist awaited them. A holographic message flickered into view. Only one may activate the beacon. Choose. Aaron froze, the weight of the decision hitting him. They had come this far together, but now only one of them could claim victory. Ryloth stared at the beacon in silence, his glowing eyes reflecting the cold reality of the situation. It has to be you, he said quietly. You've earned it. Aaron shook his head. We earned it. Both of us. Ryloth gave a sad smile. That's not how the galaxy works, Aaron. You know that. They'll never allow a shared victory. Aaron's jaw tightened. He hated the system. Hated the way these alien elites twisted everything into a contest, a zero-sum game. But he also knew Ryloth was right. Then, an idea sparked in Aaron's mind. A reckless, insane idea that only a human would come up with. Ryloth, Aaron said slowly, do you trust me? The alien tilted his head. Should I be worried? Aaron grinned. Probably. Without waiting for a response, he grabbed Ryloth's arm and pulled him toward the beacon. What are you? Ryloth began, but Aaron cut him off. Trust me. Together, they placed their hands on the beacon. The moment they did, the cradle seemed to freeze, as if the environment itself couldn't comprehend what had just happened. The beacon activated, and instead of rejecting one of them, it accepted both. A brilliant light erupted from the beacon, illuminating the entire cradle. The holographic message flickered, glitching and distorting, as if the system couldn't process the anomaly. When the two emerged from the cradle, the alien professors were waiting, their expressions a mix of disbelief and frustration. No one had ever activated the beacon together. The rules had been broken, the game disrupted, and the professors hated it. But the crowd of participants and spectators erupted into applause. They had seen something extraordinary, something that defied the cold, competitive logic of the galaxy. Aaron and Ryloth hadn't just survived. They had rewritten the rules. One of the professors, a stern reptilian creature, hissed in frustration. This is unprecedented. It shouldn't have been possible. Aaron grinned. Guess we humans have a habit of doing the impossible. Ryloth glanced at him, his glowing eyes full of quiet admiration. Indeed, in the days that followed, the story of Aaron and Ryloth's victory spread like wildfire across the galaxy. They weren't just celebrated for winning the trial, they were hailed as a symbol of something greater. Their partnership, their refusal to abandon each other, became a beacon of hope in a galaxy that had long been ruled by cold logic and ruthless competition. For the first time, the galaxy began to question its own values. What if strength wasn't about dominance, but about cooperation? What if evolution wasn't just about survival, but about trust and empathy? Aaron and Ryloth had proven that survival wasn't just about being the strongest. It was about being the one who refused to let others fall. And in doing so, they had changed the galaxy forever. As they stood together on the podium, basking in the cheers of the crowd, Ryloth leaned toward Aaron and whispered, I think you humans might just be the most dangerous species in the universe. Aaron smirked. Told you. And so, the story of Aaron Keller, the Deathworlder who defied expectations, spread across the stars, inspiring beings from countless worlds. Because in the end, evolution wasn't just about survival. It was about choosing to rise, together. And that was the most human thing of all.